So this one might be a little bit more condensed because we do have a hard out today. I should mention just some quick housekeeping notes off the top. So that might be why this one's a bit shorter, but we hope to jam pack some information in there for you. You should also know a like and subscribe does mean a lot. Our NBA video was really, really fun because we hadn't done it in NBA content in a long time. The really cool thing about that is that there's some really evergreen takes. Like if you don't like what we did, if you like what we did, there's still like a week before the season, so a lot of that's still very relevant. I was very impressed because it wasn't tracking very good the first 24 hours, and then we saw a huge surge of people watching it and appreciating it because I do think it's an underserved market. So if you care about the NBA, if you want to go back and watch that, it would mean a lot. Again, just liking and subscribing on this video would mean a lot as well. How are we doing, guys?
All right.
Having a good day. Having a good day indeed.
So I thought what we would do is we would have our spread picks, we'd make our 2 picks, and then we'll give like a headline for it, and then we'll circle back and have a conversation because I think it will just lead into the DFS conversation very well. A lot of the games that we enjoy are games that we want to talk about for DFS anyways. So that way I can, because sometimes like Gov's second pick, I have a few more things to say than his first, and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have saved that 5 minutes so I could really elaborate. So we'll try this new format and see how it goes. Donnie, do you have some kind of selection up? Some kind of
yeah, I got a random number generator. What's everyone's
number? Let's go back.
84.
24.
All right, and I'm gonna. What number did you pick, Gov?
84.
All right, I'm gonna go with 52. It's 24.
No shit.
I hit it.
Logan gets dead on the head.
Yep.
I just talked about basketball. I figured we might as well go with my favorite player of all time, Kobe. I almost went 8, which would have been totally different. So 24 it is. Oh, by the way, our spread pick is the Browns, Cincinnati and the Browns. We're going to take Cincinnati at -5.5. Their offensive line is pretty bad, so we'll get into more of the reasons why if it's not obvious. But for my spread pick and then my headline for this game, I really like the Chiefs. I think at +2. I'm going to try to find this game quickly. I was scrolling through a lot here. I'm pretty sure it's still +2. So, yeah.
Yep.
My point would be, my headline, I guess, would be Patrick Mahomes favored. Take him. They win.
It's 2, you said?
It's +2, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right.
You said Chiefs plus or -2?
+2.
Okay,
it's
not very often. Favored. I had to.
That's what I mean by that headline. Like, Chiefs favored.
That's a headline. Mahomes, not favored. Take it.
Yeah, take it.
I'm going to go with what I think is the best team in their division. They're going to prove it. Lions +1.5. I don't expect Minnesota to come out there and beat Detroit.
Interesting. Any headline takeaways?
I don't have headlines. I'm going to be honest.
Fair enough. Go. What are you thinking?
Who's the real man in that division? There's your headline.
It might be.
With Man Campbell on the cover. Let's see. Okay. I am going to grab. I'm going to go Texans +3. Houston +3. Right? That's where it is. That's what I have it at least. Right? Yeah.
Any teaser to why? Any headline? Any kind of like precursor that you want to set people up with?
Love's unlovely day in Green Bay. There. Because I'm not even sure it's going to be Stroud going off. I just think Love's due for a bad day, even in his hometown.
I like it, but this is why Donnie does not want to participate in the headlines. He's like, you're not going to catch me doing karaoke. Not in front of these people. Okay.
All right. Okay. I got one more too. Let's see.
What was the line of that first one?
+3. Right? Go up one. It's
I think it's
it's
3.5.
+3.
Is it?
Nope, it's 3. Yeah.
It is 3.
And now, screw it. Rams.
You have to lay 7, but it's
I'm
not.
gonna take the Rams -7.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just that much better. I mean, honestly.
Sometimes you're just that much better. That's a great headline, Doug.
That's a great headline right there.
There you go.
That's one you can be proud of.
What you got for your second pick?
Man, I can't do the 9.5, but I really want to because I don't think Tennessee stands a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go with this team so bad they lost. The locker room just doesn't believe in the head coach anymore. And the home team, away from home, is gonna not show up. Patriots at +6.
I can see why.
Yes. Donnie takes New England.
I took the Lions in New England. Somebody just needs to take the Panthers now.
It ain't me because I took Houston and the Rams.
Yeah.
I took what should be my quarterback and Stafford, the old Lion.
All right, it's my pick, right?
Who is still one of the greatest quarterbacks. So what was it? New England +6?
Yeah, +6.
All of us so far are taking a lot of underdogs, except me taking the heavy favorite.
Here it is for me. Connecting flights. Give me the Jets over the Steelers.
What is it? 1.5?
Sunday night football.
Minus
Jets
1.5.
-1.5.
That's correct. They're getting an upgrade. They're desperate. I like it.
You know what? I don't hate it. I really don't. It's a
So
really
basically,
good one.
Now we can
There's
look
actually another. There's another good one that could be coming up because I did hear Mike Evans is going to be out, so I kind of might flip my stuff on my Ravens and Bucks stuff. But we'll see.
We got our picks now, right?
We got all of our picks in. Yep.
So now we can go back and say, like, was there anything that stuck about why we picked something? Was there anything interesting? Was there like fantasy relevancy? Why did we make some of these picks? For me, it's like the Jets. I'll just go back to my pick. The Jets are desperate. We know this. They need to win. Sure, they probably need to win 7 of their next, like, somewhere in there. They need to win probably 7 more games. But they got an upgrade at quarterback. They have no excuse. So I feel like a team that's desperate that has no excuse has to play good at least initially for those investments to mean something. I'm not saying it will last. I'm not saying like, oh, everything is fixed. But you fired a coach. You brought in more, your favorite players now. There's some chemistry there. If it doesn't work now, the season is over. So you're wanting to get the best the Jets have. I don't know if that's good enough, but I think playing a boring Steelers team who has looked pretty pathetic recently and might even be going through a quarterback change of their own, I like the Jets there. Donnie, was your pick on the Patriots, was that just a total fade on like the coaching exact for the Jags? Like,
that's just total fade on the Jags. I don't think they have anything there. I mean, I know there's talent in that room, and it's never come together. So I'm just done with it. I'm not playing that game with them anymore.
The only reason I'm playing is because it's the morning game, and if I'm going to wake up and enjoy football, like I'm going to have a little bit of juice on the line. And I think there's still some fantasy relevancy with Drake May, and you can really take advantage because he looked good, but I think he has a ceiling to look even better. So I will be attacking some of that game. But I'll be honest, Travis Etienne has looked very bad. I I don't know why, but I think that's their main problem. And it might be offensive line, it might be play calling. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of inconsistency in that position. Gov, your picks just made sense. Like, to me, this is a week where it just like things just they came easy to me. Like it just you looked at the board, you're like, yeah, I could see that. Like
Yeah, and like the Rams look like the sneaky afternoon game because like I like your Kansas City pick a lot. I was going to look at that. I kind of wanted to stay away from the Washington-Carolina game just because of homerism.
Well, I think a lot of people expect that game to be like really fun and fantasy creative, and I think there's some cool things you can do in a lineup. I don't
see,
know.
and I think the Rams and Raiders game has that potential too to be kind of this weird, fun game if the Raiders can put up any sort of like points. Like if the Raiders put up 14, the Rams will probably want to put up 30.
I especially agree with you, given the offenses are very condensed. Like I want to say Brock Bowers in the last 2 weeks has seen like 22 targets, like something absurd. And then we know that Matthew Stafford just can go very nuclear in the terms of just narrowing his target shares.
And he may have cut back along with Kyron. Like,
right.
So we know that's a combo that can put up points.
Is it strange to me that the Chiefs are not favored on it like that? I know you're a Patrick Mahomes guy too, because like a lot of people probably give you shit being a Patriots fan. And
I mean, it is San Francisco in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's just. I think whoever was
that's
home
like anything
favored.
less than 3 is just like the home flip. Like that's the baked in home field advantage.
I get that, and like I know I've dogged the 49ers before, and like they're a good team. I'm not saying they're not, but any team, it doesn't even matter if they're my favorite team and I have a bias. Like you're gonna give me points with Mahomes, I'm gonna take it. I just will. It will lose sometimes, but I will take it.
It's a pretty good game too, 47. Like that's one of the games that's on my list of plays I want to maybe have a piece of.
It's remarkable.
Also a huge chalky piece for the lineups when we get there.
Yeah, which we can transition to if you're ready.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, if you want to open up a lineup, we'll.
Oh, Gov was right. See, Gov, you said last week I was going to get this screen, and we got through it. And I'm like, you know what? I proved to Gov we've gotten through this. We won't have any problems. I won't have to get any screens up, nothing.
It's a fail-safe. DraftKings is great and horrible and awesome all at the same time.
Last week we had a fail-safe screen up. We could I'm like, oh, we won't need to this week. We'll be fine.
Right.
This should be good though. Look at that. Even though I'm disabled, I can type pretty fast with one hand. Look at that. We're back. Shout out to Campbell's Chunky Soup, by the way. We didn't have a full-time sponsor last year with these Sunday night games. It does help out a bit to have a free contest because you can do some fun stuff with the showdowns. In all honesty, like that's where you can get creative and have some fun. And we always talk about diversifying your portfolio and just doing fun things. You should definitely take advantage of these free lineups just to do some interesting things. Because I do think that's where you like learn process and you just, learn different ways to experiment. Was there a particular idea or like we always do a drafted lineup and then a kind of budget lineup? And then
I want to do the budget lineup first.
All right. So
that makes sense.
Like, yeah, that's a good place to start because, like, all right, so let's just plug in what are the obvious values. So, like, start at quarterback.
Okay.
I think this week.
I don't see any values.
True obvious values to like. There's no like sub 5K like rattler value.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
When it comes to like the Drake Mays and stuff that we're playing last week, like you could go Dalton, you could go Daniel Jones against Philly if you really wanted to.
Let's just plug in the most viable cheap guy, and then we can always change it as well, just to give people the picture.
It's probably Andy Dalton at 5,200. Because I'm not playing Tyler Huntley, as horrible as Indy's defense is, and they are bad. I'm not playing Tyler Huntley against Indy.
Well, we've seen it with the Commanders. They can just play a lot of carnival games, and then with Andy Dalton, like we know he loves Johnson, so he's just gonna, so it's an easy target. For running backs, this one,
I think like the one I'm seeing pulling this like ownership is probably
I would say Chase Brown.
I was thinking Trey Sermon.
Brown.
I mean,
Is
Indy
Sermon
should.
in?
Yeah. Taylor's out. Sermon's in.
No, but like his Sermon might be hurt.
Yeah, he said DraftKings doesn't have anything in there for him.
I don't know. I really don't know.
No, DraftKings doesn't have a tag for him. So
fair enough. We'll plug him in for now. I do think Chase Brown's a really good value. We saw Zach Moss fumble and then Brown fumbled, but Brown got back in the game. Also has a pass usage. There's not a whole lot of value. Kareem Hunt would be another guy you might consider at 6K just because he plays in a high, paced up offense.
Logan, you're out of your circle.
Am I? Oh, I am. I'm gonna drive you nuts. Donnie keeps me artistically impaired because I know with my disability sometimes that perception depth is hard for me, but Donnie keeps me prepared, so I appreciate it. But I was saying that I think Kareem Hunt is like he's in a good game, but I don't know. He's paying 6K might be a lot. Maybe he's a good leverage though, but it just seems like a lot.
I do think he's an interesting play, but at that price, I'd rather just play Kelsey.
Yeah, to me, the best running back value, but he's not really cheap, would be Tony Pollard. Like Spears is out. You can't rely on Will Levis to do much. Maybe Tony Pollard.
Like in my mind, like Brian Robinson has the best spot on the slate, but like if he's questionable and he's not going to be used, then like 4,400 Jeremy McNichols should be the guy getting rushing.
Yeah. So to me,
they've shown when B-Rob's out, they're not going to give Eckler more work. Although Eckler does get like 10 to 12 touches, a lot of them are like catches out of the backfield where he could explode and get open. So like that could happen this week too, and he's 5,900. There's actually a few more like sub 5K running back plays than you might think.
I think the
Brown, Sermon, Eckler.
I think the obvious tight end value this week would be Calc from the Eagles. The
calculator.
Yeah, the calculator. That's what we call him.
Yeah, I think he's up there.
He had 4 targets.
Calcantera looks good as a cheap tight end, actually.
Yeah, 3,200, right?
Yep.
I do think you could still play.
I was going to say your guy Sanders still being under 3K is interesting.
I was about to say he's still like averaging 5 like he's had 5 and 7 targets the last 2 games. So like,
yeah, it's close.
Now that's injury specific because if they got fully healthy, if they decided to do something else with the rotation, but right now it looks like they're going to give the rookie some spin to see how much he's got left on the wheels. Like they're at that point in the season.
I know he has a Q tag right now, but every indication says he's probably going to play from a very high scoring game potentially. I think Juju's a value play here. 4K,
yeah, he is definitely targets. The chalk wide receiver.
Juju is definitely a value
he
here.
Is the value, and I think he's like in a perfect spot. Like he's at a price.
And let's keep that Q tag through Sunday.
He will. He's gonna have to fair, but he'll play Sunday afternoon unless he has some weird spasm where they sit him.
Right.
He's still going to be too high owned probably because people will want value this week, and he's a PMR kind of leverage value too because you can move around if your lineup's doing bad in the early slate of games and you need some flexibility. So he's going to get owned, but to Donnie's point, if we do have that Q there, it might lower his ownership a little bit.
I think maybe an undervalued receiver at that same price is Noah Brown. 8 targets last week, 4K as well. When he does play, he is getting the targets.
It is probably the two safest values we just mentioned.
Now, here's one that's not as cheap of a value as you guys have put in, but still very valuable for the game environment. And that's Jackson Smith and Jigba. The way Atlanta plays defense, they allow you to get passing yards down the field, but they are very solid in the red zone, and they don't allow big plays.
I mean, we could definitely move up to him.
The PMR monster for JSN is sort of where it's set up to be.
No, I mean, we could definitely move up to him in this lineup or even our draft line, but I wouldn't consider. You're stretching that value tag a bit for this.
Well, how much is he?
5,900.
That's not.
He is wide receiver too. In this offense, you've seen that where DK and Lockett in years before were very close to each other.
Yeah.
If DK is going to be up around 7K, JSN should be in the 6K range. For him to be 59, I think is a misprice.
I know we're going to definitely move up some of these values, but I do have to mention more for the Browns, if you can stomach it, is only 3,200. Elijah Moore.
I would not be mad about that either. That's a really good play too.
I mean,
I might as well throw it out there. My value defense of the week is the New York Giants.
Mine as well. Me and Donnie were talking a little bit privately last night. I don't think they've adjusted enough on the Giants. This might be the last week we get to play them under 3K. They've been really good. Okay. So what really good value that you want to even talk about? Because obviously we'll probably change them, so it won't even matter. Is there anyone that we're missing that you want to talk about though before we start building?
Let's see.
I mean, I'm going to play some Elijah Moore, for example.
The other lucky guys are going to be like Whittington from the Rams, Ray McLeod from Atlanta at 44. Tucker from Las Vegas. Those are going to be your chalky guys.
Tucker will be there.
Tucker's probably the guy. He's probably the one pulling the most ownership.
Yeah, Tutu would be interesting as well.
Yeah, Tutu is a good pivot at low ownership from like a Whittington or that. I actually have my low owned pivot for these Vegas guys because you got Bowers and Tucker that are pulling ownership.
I think a lot of people want Tillman to be a thing for Cleveland because he is actually Stoneman and he's like the young rookie. But I would just pay the 200 for Elijah. You know, he's been proven to be an NFL professional in the past. So that's where I would go. How do we fix this lineup though? I always like Gov's analogy of what's the one guy you would change and see if we agree or if there's any major pivots.
In my mind, the first guy I change is probably Elijah Moore, just because of my mistrust of the Cleveland offense. Still,
I wouldn't first change Elijah Moore. I'd think about it. I would probably first change Trey Sermon. As much as I do like his value, I just think there's better.
He would have been second on my list.
Okay, because I think Sermon's the first one to take out. He's looked really bad.
Okay, so Sermon's the first guy we upgrade.
I just want to show
what's the running back play that we think we need? Because we have the money. So we can just put in. We could literally put in Barkley or Kyron.
I think it's Kyron.
I'm not mad if we just said, hey, let's play Hunt and get off the Juju chalk.
We could do that.
You're saying we go to Hunt and then immediately switch Juju to someone else?
Yes.
I could see that.
Just get a different part of that game and maybe get a Niners guy.
I could also just play Kyron though. So I'll let Guff kind of
see.
500 more for a much more efficient back.
I was sort of thinking the same idea as Donnie in that instead of going to Kyron, let's do something like I was thinking like Jahmyr Gibbs, and then when we go to Elijah Moore. Yeah, and then when we go to Elijah Moore, we can pay up for maybe even JJ.
I have news for you. I also love Gibbs this week. Gibbs has not been they haven't been down in the game. They haven't had to rely on his passing game work. Now, that's not to say Montgomery doesn't catch passes, because that's actually a misnomer. He does. He's involved in some screen work as well. But I do think this just screams as a game where Detroit's actually going to have to be competitive. And I do like Gibbs in Detroit Lions competitive games.
And then are we moving up off of?
So now Elijah Moore was my thought. Yeah. You guys have as being the second guy we touch?
I'm not against that at this point.
Okay. So I would love to get up to JJ if you guys are fine with that.
That makes a lot of sense.
It fits the Jahmyr Gibbs thing. That was my first initial thought too. And this is exactly the way to play it, I think. It's like take a piece from Detroit that we like that I think is underpriced, but I don't think enough people have confidence in, and then pair it with something chalky that everyone's going to love. We're not going to get sneaky with Justin Jefferson's ownership. I think he's going to get ownership. I think he's a really good play, but pairing these two is unique.
Okay. My thought now is we need to discuss quarterback. Are we sticking with Dalton? And if we are, we need to probably get a Carolina guy in here, or do we want to change it to a different quarterback?
My thing really is I'm really, really loving the idea of playing Allen this week.
I like paying up for quarterback this week. My pay up would have been Mahomes, but I don't mind Allen.
Mine is actually Jalen Hurts against that Giants defense.
God damn it.
I might get off of that the more I look at it and just play one-offs of Devonta and A.J. Brown.
So we all like the expensive quarterback, but not the same expensive quarterback.
I don't hate Josh Allen, but the Tennessee defense has been very solid.
Okay,
the chalky guy everyone's playing is Jaden Daniels against my horrible Panthers.
Okay, but because I think it is a pay up for quarterback week, I'll say that. My pay up would be Mahomes, but if I do pay up for Allen, can I at least lock in that we play Cooper with him?
That's what I wanted to do.
I would need to do that. We would probably switch Dalton and Noah Brown to Allen and Cooper. Can we even do that? Let's see.
I think so, because Cooper is really.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Cooper's I probably would have went up off Tucker, but I get it.
And people are like, "Well, Cooper, he's 5,800." This is like, how long has it been since he's played with a good quarterback? Let's be honest. How long? Like, it's been it's been a long time.
I don't remember the last time he played with that.
I don't really give a damn if he only knows 25 plays, because
they're gonna use those 25 plays if he knows 25 plays.
He has more touchdown upside in this one game with only knowing 25 plays than he's had with Watson in the last 3 weeks to me. So I like this.
Okay. Can I have a play, if you'll allow me.
Okay.
We go down from Calcaterra to Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Since Calcaterra is against our defense anyway.
Yes.
Giving us 1,800, which would allow us to switch Trey Tucker to George Kittle.
I love that. I wanted Kittle, actually. That's the guy.
I was also looking for a way to jam Kittle.
I couldn't think of how to get Kittle in there.
I just thought of how to get Kittle in there.
I'm doing a lot of 2 tight ends, but I'm doing a lot of Bowers and Kelsey.
And I think a lot of people are going to be doing Bowers, Kelsey, Bowers, cheap guy, which I like Dalton Schultz. I like Zach Ertz. I like Calcaterra and Sanders as cheap guys, yes.
So I really like the 2 tight ends, so that's why I'll give it. I mean, and I'm not saying Kittle's bad. It's just I never thought about playing Kittle this week. Maybe that's bad. So maybe this lineup is my saving grace, because we definitely have gotten unlucky with some of our profits recently. So we do need to hit here. This lineup makes a lot of sense. We have Juju paired with Kittle now. We have Gibbs paired with Jefferson, Cooper and our quarterback. It's not at all what we started with value-wise, but I do like the value kind of build-up, because it gets you thinking about okay, where do I want to allocate my money?
Now, I do want to remind you guys, since we are doing a double tight end right now, There is also, I would switch Kittle and Sanders just for flex stuff. But
Well, it doesn't really matter. They both play in the afternoon.
They both play at the same time, yeah.
Next week is National Tight End Day or whatever.
I thought it was this Sunday.
It's next Sunday. It's the 4th Sunday of October.
Thought it was week 7. Everyone's playing it as if it's this week.
It's not this week. It's next week.
I hate it.
Well, I'm playing a lot of double dead in this week.
God, we have to get off Kittle.
Last week it was week 7.
No, it's week 7 now.
Yeah, this is the week.
No. Like last year, I mean, it was week 7.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
that's what I meant. Okay.
Now that we fully confused the people.
Yeah. Well, no, I buy into the National Tight End Day thing.
Well,
I buy into that. That's the true narrative. The tight ends care. They're going to.
Yes, no, I agree, and I was under the impression it was this week.
Does this change your lineups?
It's
Does this affect your lineups? Because I think it should if you were playing it like
geez.
that. It's next week.
Oh God!
I'm going to be honest. I probably play the most two tight end lineup of anyone on this play.
Yeah, sorry to.
I might have to change a few things.
Look, when Bauer's getting 22 targets in 2 weeks, Kelsey is the number 1 option with Kansas City. I don't care what you call him. Call him wide receiver. Call him running backs. If you're going to get work, I want you on my team. I think the 2 tight end lineups get too much hate. But why don't we get this drafted lineup out of the way here?
Oh, yeah. All right. So, wait. That means I get the first pick.
You do get the first pick for the first time this year, I think?
Yes. The first pick of the draft for the first time this year. All right. Well, then. Disgusting play of the week. Usually this comes from Logan.
Yeah.
I know it's coming from me. Because everyone wants to play Bowers. And a lot of chalk is going to Trey Tucker, especially if Jacoby Myers is out. You know what the Rams suck against? The run.
You going to Zamir White?
They give up a lot. They give up a lot. No, Zamir White is hurt, I believe. Isn't he on IR?
He's questionable.
Hold on.
If he was on IR, I would like Madison more. I believe he's questionable. Yeah. He's trying to play Gov. He was limited in back-to-back weeks. Or back-to-back practices this week.
Limited means he probably misses.
He's also cheaper.
Oh, no, he was full participation this week, they said.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like he's going to be playing.
Then I might just play him. Him or Alexander Madison look good.
Yeah.
Like in a sneaky good
matchup. To be fair,
if you told me they were going to get 15 carries, I would want to play them.
We got a lot right in best ball, but this was the one that hurts the most because I really looked at Zamir White as that farm strong, like everything coming out of preseason. He looked phenomenal.
I hated everything about Zamir White. So
I'll swallow it because I bought in. I bought the dip hard. I was like, this is a running team. Zamir looks great, So I would not love nothing.
The thing that hurts me the most is Travis Etienne because I was so high on him and he just.
That one hasn't worked out. So you go with Zamir White then? Yep.
All right. That makes it my pick, doesn't it?
I would actually say put in Madison.
Okay.
And then if Zamir White is in,
then
we can I'll give you the if we hear about that, I'll give you the DM on Sunday.
He was full participation all week this past week. So
full participation.
If you pull up his tab, Logan, it says full participation. He was up.
Yeah, the 4,900 is interesting too. I do think we can do more with it.
I did say both the Whites are on my no playlist, and damn it, he's going to end up getting played off an injury.
So you decide what we're going to do, good. But
put in Zamir White.
Okay. And then if he's ruled out for some reason, I'll make that swap.
Yep.
And
I'll find a way.
We'll figure it out. I'll be here on Sunday morning.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say with my pick, throw in Kelsey.
I like it.
I'll probably be playing back-to-back Kelsey weeks.
Even if even if Kelsey gets like 60 yards, you would still expect like 10 catches, right? Like that's how I'm playing it. Everyone's like, well, he's old. I'm like, he's gonna get spammed with volume to me. So if he catches that long touchdown, Donnie, that's a plus.
Like 9 for 10, 70 yards is really good. 7 for 9, 89 yards is really good.
I feel like everyone's just banging on his average.
Eventually, he's gonna score.
I don't care. Yeah, like I love this. These targets are great.
He had a slow start to the week, and now he looks like himself again.
And really, those slow starts coincide with when the offense was running through Rashee Rice.
And now it's not. So
I to go back to your bread and butter. Run it through Kelsey. Hell, it's way old bread and butter. They're using the team from fucking 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, Juju, and Kelsey.
Oh, man. All right. Logan, your pick. You back-to-back picks.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to take a guy that I think is just too cheap. And actually, Jared Goff's been targeting him a lot when they are blitzed, especially in a zone blitz, which the Minnesota Vikings do a lot. I want Jameson Williams at 6,000. I think this might be the last week. He's a good value, but his targets, I think he should be more like a $7,000 receiver. So I like Jameson there. And I think this game could basically be what we wanted the Cowboys to be a couple weeks ago, and the Cowboys just didn't show up. So this could be a fun circus game.
All right, what's pick number 2 for you?
And then we're going to get nutty. I'm going to give you guys all kinds of money because that's what I do. I'm going to take Elijah Moore.
Oh, I'm going to get nutty with my next pick.
Oh, please don't. I don't want this to be too bad. I already went crazy.
It's not gonna be too bad. You know why? Because I'm gonna play the narrative that I've seen from last Super Bowl, and now there's gonna be injuries and a lot of people out. We're playing Kansas City's defense. Brock Purdy's gonna get exposed, and I love Brock Purdy, but still, I don't think he's gonna be able to handle it.
Exposure in the Super Bowl rematch.
Kansas City is only 3,100.
Great headline, Donnie. Yeah. A little late, but great headline.
Yeah,
I do. I didn't know what Kansas City was priced. I thought they would be like 3,500. So actually, that's a very
we'll fade this game. Get Kelsey. He's going to dominate, and then all of a sudden we have the defense to say this is going to be like a 28 to 14 game. I love that. I love that narrative.
I don't mind it. Go. What do you think?
Right. I think I'm just going to jam my favorite 2 plays.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Addison, which is going to play perfectly off your JMO play.
I like that.
You have to attack the slot against Detroit. And then the next play is going to be my homer pick. Plug in my boy, Chuba.
I had Chuba Hubbard in almost every one of my personal lineups.
I can't believe I've been doubting him all year. It's horrible. I feel like a horrible person. Go Chuba.
Now that's the thing is we are paying up for the consistency, but I don't think the price is too crazy, especially at this point in the season. Like we have seen it where once players get priced up, it's hard for them to come back down. So, but I think Chuba has been priced up very slow compared to most people. For example, Kareem Hunt is $6K. So they priced him way up right away. So,
but he's also like stepped into the Pacheco role.
I get that. Like it
like
makes
if you
sense.
think he's like sub Pacheco, Pacheco was like 64, 65. Right,
Yeah.
right where Chuba is. So like I think Hunt is almost priced correctly, unless he just starts having like his prime career games that he, like he used to.
Yeah.
Then now it's like, okay, now he needs to be like 7K, like just up there with those other guys.
All right. My pick, or did you have another one? It's mine.
Yeah, those were my two. Your last pick. Do you want a quarterback or a
quarterback? Oh, I'm 50-50 on this quarterback here. So I'll let you guys decide. It's either going to be Goff or Mahomes to me. I don't care which.
That's
Chiefs onslaught, or I don't hate the Mahomes play, actually.
I would say Mahomes because in one lineup we're already betting on Gibbs, and the other lineup we're betting on Jameson. So like, I feel like both of them could get there, and Jerry could have a bad game, and we still survive. I just don't think Mahomes will have a bad game.
All right, let's go Mahomes then. I wanted you guys to talk through that.
Patrick.
The problem with Patrick is he never has a bad game. He just never hits that. He's
just been
he hasn't hit that ceiling in over
quarterback for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But like again, there's a lot of quarterbacks not getting you 17 every week like he does.
So I kind of like it because I just want to pay up for the guarantee. Like even if it is 18 points, who cares? I want to make sure we get it.
I do think Kansas City will just come out here and dominate, honestly.
All right, Logan, you got 7,400 to finish our lineup. What are you going to do?
Okay.
I know what I kind of want to do. Wait.
There's a couple good plays here. There's a lot of good plays that we could go with.
There is.
There are. Yeah.
So if I needed to save the money, it would be Terry McLaurin, but I don't need to.
Yeah, you can literally play whoever you want.
Yeah, you can go all the way up to Tyreek Hill if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Hell, you could play Mason.
I could.
Well,
you could play Diggs against Green Bay.
Theoretically, he could play Mason. Or are you talking Mixon?
Oh, I meant Mixon. I'm sorry. I said Mason. I'm so sorry. I know.
I'm going to give you guys the choice between the three guys because I can't decide that. Like, I really can't decide. So either Bijan Robinson for the upside, Walker, or Debo Smith, or Debo Samuel.
Well, we won't do Samuel because we have the defense.
I'm not.
So it's Walker who?
Bijan. I'd probably go Bijan. Okay. I think a lot of people are going Ken Walker and want to play Ken Walker. I think I'd play Bijan.
Yeah, let's just go Bijan. That makes more sense, I think. Or we could go lower than Bijan and try and upgrade somewhere else if we feel like we want to.
He got a lot of work when the game was close. I think a lot of the Tyler Algier thing, although he's going to get work,
he did get a bunch of looks at the end of the game in fourth quarter.
He had a lot of garbage time work. Like maybe that's what you expect from that role is he's the backup, but it skewed the numbers. I felt like Bijan was still 5 yards away from the bonus, and he got receiving work. So, and I think it's a good pivot off of Walker. That's why I was considering Walker because we could have ate the chalk, but we didn't need to.
All right.
Any other topics you guys want to mention about lineups that you thought we missed or any?
I don't have much this week, honestly. I think this week is pretty lax, self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, though. I feel like this week's a week where you can. I don't know how else to say it, so I'll just say it bluntly. It's a week where you can fuck up really easily by trying to be.
There's a lot of high total games, a lot of low total games, but I actually think those low total games have decent matchups in them, like that Vegas and LA game, like the Philly New York game, like Buffalo Tennessee. Those games have potential on top of all these other 48. 50-point total games.
And it's not to say there isn't value because there is Elijah Moore. There is the upside of Tillman if you think this young guy is going to finally get work. We just played Zamir White. But for so many weeks, the last few weeks, there's been like this bingo board kind of like you have to play this cheap guy because he is such a smash or he is such a value that it gets talked about and generated throughout the week of fantasy. There's not that this week. And so I think this week is a week where you have to find your things that you love and don't talk yourself out of it. We always talk about that anyways, just knowing our process and sticking with it. But I feel like in week 7 with projections, I mentioned it in the description, with the projections and with people tend to go up, and Gov knows this as well. He can speak to it even probably better than I can. Once people go up in DraftKings, they rarely drop. So if you go from like 3K to 5K or 3K to 4K, like Tucker, for example, Tucker's probably not going to go back to 3K. So if you think he's going to go up and you want to play him, you got to play him this week. Like that's how value works. It gets harder to find value as the week goes on. So just don't outsmart yourself, I guess would be my point. Gov, any like overarching topics that you wanted to kind of shout out to the people before we get out of here?
No, but that is a good note about the value there. And they're already like looking and pricing up running backs for backups to make it harder on that. So the wide receivers will not go down once they start going up.
Well, sometimes I see that with casual builders too. Like let's say Donnie was a watcher of our program and was like, well, Gov and Logan said, they like their cheap wide receivers and then they like the GM running backs. You can't just do that every week because the pricing does change. So your process does have to change, but your structure should have an idea of what it wants, but you got to be willing to be flexible within that. But with that being said, I do see some comments here. I missed them earlier. I do apologize.
Oh, that just came through.
It just came through. That's good. So we'll answer this. We'll get some engagement, and then we'll get out of here.
Full PPR, one love.
Quarterback, I probably go Love.
Yeah, Love's in a better
game. That is
game.
very close. Cousins will be in an up-pace matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I would go Loves and Dubes, personally.
And then flex. Yeah, I probably go Dobbs until I see what Chubb can do on that Cleveland shitty offensive line.
Yeah, like I was just gonna say, if you want to believe in Chubb, and I do, like the comeback.
Yeah, we have a lot of stock in Chubb.
We do best ball. I mean, we can pull it. It's on the screen.
Chubb is a maybe if you think he's going to come back healthy and make the offensive line look better. Dobbs is going to be what he's been, so he'll be the most consistent. Shakir's basically done now that they got Amari Cooper. As far as
I wouldn't say that.
He's now wide receiver 2 running those deep. He's now wide receiver 2 running MVS routes.
And I would say he's option 3 for sure. He's behind Dalton.
Kincaid. And 4 if you consider Cook, potentially.
Well, yeah, it's run first and then look for Cooper, look for Kincaid, look for Shakir. Which in realistic is a solid offense for Josh
If Shakir has a good week this week, I would try to get off him if I was in a season long.
Yeah. And again, Kyle, you can tell we all have slightly different opinions here. You have to make that own choice. I just want to give you alternatives. Like, for example, we want to believe in Chubb. We have a lot of best ball. I want to bet him for comeback player of the year. I considered it, but, Cousins is playing well. If you think Chubb's going to do well, though, I think like attacking the sports book this is the week to do it. Take the over 40 or take the anytime touchdown. I think you have to be more safe this week because these are the weeks where you have to start building for the playoffs. But you have some close ones there. So also, if you have any like correlations in your lineup, any stacks, that's where I would favor. Like, if you had a London with your Cousins, that's where I would break the tie there because like your quarterback decision is very close.
Yeah, agreed. Like if you had a London or something like that.
See, that's it. If you have I know like my friends get mad at me. They're like, well, you're such a fantasy pilled guy. Like you're pilled in this DFS landscape where it's like you have to stack. But look, it does help in season long too. When you can bury your friend or your coworker because you have a stack, I do value that, especially in an offense like Love's that you expect a lot of passing from. That game we haven't talked a lot about. That game could get nutty though.
That game is interesting because Houston last week played the most stale offense with the Patriots. They don't motion at all, and the Packers love motion. So it's a completely different turnaround on what they're going to have to defend. It's going to be interesting how prepared they are for it.
Well, because I agree with that as well, Kyle. If you take the Chubb and the sports book and you just want to cheer for the highest upside, they're pricing it as they don't know either. They're pricing it with a lot of uncertainty.
Chubb has so much talent. Like, I could trust Chubb that he's talented enough to do it. It's just
so that's what I mean.
My only bet would be against the Cleveland offense in general.
Well,
exactly.
Let's not forget also, like, Chubb, I think if Chubb comes back 80% of what he was, I mean, he's still one of the best running backs in the league. But where there is that issue, this is his second potential career-ending injury. He had one in college. He now has one in the NFL. It's eventually at some point you're not going to come back from it.
He knows how to rehab from it. That's all that tells
you. Still, it gets harder and harder as you do it.
I will say he also had a press conference. You could tell the emotions were flowing. This matters to him.
As it should.
People talked about that. Well, the Browns, their season might be over. They have a lot of bad, headlines with Watson, what have you. There might be some turmoil. This is the kind of thing that would rally a team. And to Gov's point, if you want to believe in the talent, like I said, I think, DraftKings is undervaluing the upside. Like, this is a game where if I wanted to cheer for Chubb, I'm going to bet Chubb to have 60 yards in the sportsbook, because if he has a good game, he's probably going to have a really good, game. And to Kyle's point, I'm glad we earned your subscribe. We have to do some housekeeping stuff at the top of the show and ask for a like and subscribe, but I try not to really hoard out, for a lack of a better word, and really earn that subscription. So I'm glad we were able to earn it. And, hopefully you enjoy the content. If you have any further questions as well, you can always leave them in the comments. I mentioned it earlier, we have a bit of a hard out, so I do want to get out of here. But again, if you want to engage with us, do so in the comments. We're pretty active. Even if you want to make fun of us, we've seen that as well. So go ahead and make fun of us. Have a good laugh. That's what we want to do here. We want to build this kind of barbershop. Everyone just hangs out, good vibes, has a few good laughs. But we also want to give you some structure and some strategy along with it. So hopefully we've done all those things today, this week. And I do not say goodnight on the outro, but we'll see what I do. Good afternoon, guys. Take care. Build good lineups. Build smart lineups. That's really what I want. Build smart lineups in all seriousness. But with that being said, good night.
Peace out, everyone.
Have a good night.